Next to me is the iCar 03. So basically this is a fully electric small SUV from iCar. iCar is a sub-brand of Chery. Chery is a Chinese car manufacturer, so this is a sub-brand of Chery. They have other models as well. This is a full electric, but they also have a different variants of this iCar 03. So they have the iCar 03T as well as the V26. But in today's video, we're going to be looking at this car, which is the 03 model, and this is the base model. Before we get started with that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. And if you want us to do a specific car review or test, please let us know in the comment section. My name is Marco, and you're watching EV Exposed. Right, before we start diving into the video and the test, let me give you some stats about the car, starting from the dimensions. So basically this car is 4.4 meters long, and it's 1.9 meters wide, and it's 1.71 meter high. So this is a smally sized SUV, as you can see. In terms of ground clearance, it's 20 centimeters when it's empty, and it's 17 centimeters when it's fully loaded. So once you load the car with people or with stuff, it will drop by 3 centimeters in terms of ground clearance. In terms of performance, this particular one we have here today is a single motor. It's a rear wheel drive. It has a single motor mounted into the rear axle, and it's 137 kilowatt electric motor. So that makes a 184 horsepower and 200 newton meters of torque. Of course, this car comes also with a dual motor, which is a four-wheel drive, and it comes with 208 kilowatt, which is 280 horsepower, and it has a four-wheel drive. In terms of battery pack, this particular one has a 65.7 kilowatt hour battery. And in terms of range, the claim number from the manufacturer is 501 kilometers of range. But I doubt, based on the shape of the car and the size of the battery, we're going to test that later, and we will see if these numbers stand or not. Start from the outside look of this car. It has a lot of interesting things that, as you can see, the first thing you will notice is the logo, which is in the middle here, the eye, which is also replicated to the daytime running lights here. As you can see here, it's the same logo replicated here. So this works as a daytime running light as well as a turning indicator. You have also this square headlights, and the same thing here. So as you can see, the front is very interesting. It has a very interesting design. Very square. The whole car actually is squared. In terms of tires and wheels, this comes with the standard 18-inch tires, and as you can see, they are really high because they want to give more clearance as well as comfort to the driver. So basically this car doesn't come with sophisticated suspension, so it's just a regular suspension, so it doesn't have adjustable height. So moving to the side of the car, as you can see, like I said, it's all squared, straight lines, from the top to the back of the car. Moving to the back of the car, which is more interesting, we have some interesting things here. First of all is this box in the middle. Actually, this is not a spare wheel. Instead, this is actually a storage. It's not a huge, but you can store stuff here. And it also locks, with the car, lock system. So it will lock and unlock as you unlock your car. The same thing we can see here at the back of the car, like the front. Also, the tail lights have the same logo as the eye, the logo of the car. So we have it here, you have it here in the middle as well, and on this side. And we also have these two stop lights, brake lights here on the top. So let's move to the interior and the inside of the car. Before we do that, just show you something here very interesting. Still have the old-fashioned key where you can insert your key here and unlock the door. And also we have this huge square rear view mirror, so that gives you actually a very good visibility. Even the doors are almost square, as you can see. And the interior color here, we have, you know, a combination, a lot of different materials and colors. So for example, just here at the door, we have leather here, this is some kind of glass, this is some kind of wood, and then you go down here, it's plastic. So a lot of different materials in one place. The same thing also works for the interior of the car, but at least, you know, the colors are, you know, a combination of the colors are working pretty good. So we have black and white. Before we move to the inside, I'll just show you the controls of the seats. So this is not the you know, the top version, but it still has adjustable seats, and also this is actually for your ventilated seats. So it's not controlled there. You can adjust it from this, you know, knob. Moving to the inside of the car, as you can see, we have this small size actually steering wheel compared to the car size. This is on the small side, and it has, you know, flat top and bottom here. In terms of functions on the steering wheel, we have these two you know, buttons, actually four. We have two others here. I think this is very useless because this is specifically for WeChat, the app that you can install on your car. Not sure why. And this from this side we have the voice command, and also here, you know, to control your music volume and everything. And this one is used for your cruise control, speed control. In terms of this has actually doesn't have the LCD instrument cluster, but it has a digital screen here, so it doesn't show a lot of information because well, like I said, this is not the top version, but you can get a screen, an actual screen on the in the higher version. Moving to the middle here, as you can see, we have this large 15.6 inch central screen, which has actually all the controls, so you don't have any other buttons here to control your climate, anything else, so everything is in here. The good thing is, okay, so you have to go through here to do whatever you want to do, so even adjusting your you know, lights. But the good thing is you have the voice command, which actually works pretty well. But the thing is also, you know, same thing, is it only works in Chinese. And so in terms of, you know, the layout of the system, I think it's okay, and it's a little bit laggy when you try, you see, so when you try to switch between menus. And I found out that there's actually something very strange on this car, which I will show you in a minute. So there is no way that you can check your average consumption, power consumption on this car. So there's nothing. You know, I went through the whole system, and also on the instrument cluster, which is just a digital screen, which I will show you in a minute. So it doesn't have any information on it, and there's nothing here. So I think this is very weird, actually. And we have to think of a way to try and get this car tested in terms of consumption. Down here we have a USB port, regular USB and a Type-C, and also we have the logo here. This actually will illuminate, you know, when you turn on your lights, so during night. Down here we have these charging pads. So actually this is a charging pad, this is not. So your wireless charging is situated here, and then down here we have two cup holders, as well as a small storage here. It's deep, it's not big, but it's deep enough to fit stuff inside. And also we have these interesting handles here. It gives you the feeling that you have like an off-road car. Moving to the top here, so we have this rear view mirror. Actually it's on the small size, but it's enough, because actually the back of the car you can see very clearly. And On the top here we have your this actually has a panoramic roof, so you have the controls for your shade, as well as, you know, opening the sunroof. Actually, you can open the first part of it. The whole thing is actually, you know, a panoramic roof all the way to the back of the car. Down here is the glove box, and the release is actually on the screen here. So this is the glove box, a decent size. Just makes it more convenient if you have, you know, a release from here instead of going through the screen. The other thing I want to show you about the screen here is you got this, you know, when you select your driving mode here, so you have different you know, driving modes. This is the rear wheel version, so it doesn't have that many modes. So basically you have sport, which gives you like the full power, and then you have this is comfort, as well as your eco mode here, and then you have your personalized you know, driving mode. So you have a lot of information on the screen here. For example, you have your the altitude above sea level here, so we are at 83 meters above sea level, and here you have the movement of your suspension front and rear. And also, you know, you have shows your pressure on your tires, as well as the temperature, and also there is an animation showing, you know, if you're, you know, draining power from the battery, or your regen back to the battery. So I think this screen is interesting, but I don't think you can use it on the daily. But on other models that have, you know, a four-wheel drive, it gives you more information, and also you can select different modes, you know, for off-roading and everything, because, you know, it's a four-wheel drive. So moving to the back of the car here, as you can see, knee room is good, but I think the way that, you know, they install the seat on the car, because it's very weird, because as you can see, you know, the headroom is really good, because this is square and it's really high. So I think, as you can see here, you still have this, you know, space between your thigh and the seat here, which is not very comfortable for, you know, long journeys. So I think if they put a little bit the seat higher, and also I think the seat is a bit shorter, as you can see, so it doesn't even hold half of my leg here. So it's very interesting why they didn't put the seat higher. Actually, there is a storage under this seat, which I will show you in a minute once we get to the storage. But, you know, they could have raised the you know, the back seats here, the rear seats a little bit higher, so it gives you have a lot of headroom here, so it gives you a better sitting position. But this is what we get. Knee room is actually, it's fine, and the headroom is fine. It's just the way you're sitting here, it's a little bit weird. Like I said, this car has actually a storage, not large storage, just a small one under the seat here. So in order to get there, you just need to lift this, and you get access to this small space here, which is fine. And there's actually two plate numbers here, came out probably from the trunk, so you can put them here. So you have a little bit of storage here. But again, I think if they, you know, raise those seats a little bit higher, they will give you a better, you know, sitting position at the back of the car. And of course, we have the armrest here. In terms of storage at the rear of the car here, we have this huge, again, square, you know, tailgate here, as you can see. So you have a really big opening here, so you can fit actually a lot of stuff. And the good thing is you can, because this is really high, and like I explained earlier, you know, you can fold down the seats, you know, to get more space, and also you have more space here. So you have your, you know, your repair kit here, you have your fire extinguisher, but you still have a lot of space here to store stuff. Before we go for a drive, I just wanted to, you know, confirm what I said earlier regarding the digital screen here. As you can see, it doesn't show you know, a lot of information, and it doesn't have a trip meter actually, and it doesn't have the, you know, your consumption meter, like, you know, how much power you're using, your average consumption. There is nothing. All you have here is your odometer here, and you have the speed in the middle here, and here you have your battery level, as well as your range, and then, you know, your gear position. We need to test it and figure out how much power it's using, but we have to find a way to do it, you know, without having to rely on the instrument cluster here, which doesn't give us any option. Right, so let's take the car for a drive and feel how the first thing you notice is you're sitting actually high from the ground, which is, you know, it gives you, it by itself, it gives you like a good of visibility. And also the car itself has really good visibility. As you can see, you know, the windshield is almost vertical. It's not vertical, but it's almost vertical. So, and it's huge, it's large. So, and like I said, you have these rear view mirrors that are big in size. Even though these pillars, the 8 pillars, are a little bit thick, but still you have really good visibility all around the car. And not sure if it's the color of the car. You know, the whole inside of the car just feels brighter. And as you can see here, you know, you can see the bonnet of the car. So I mean, typical SUV. And that's why I said, you know, we need to do a test on the range, because this doesn't have any like aerodynamic shape. It's just a square. So it must be something wrong. Either the numbers are correct and there is a trick, or, you know, the numbers are wrong and we're gonna prove that. The other thing that you notice, you know, straight away, even like I said, this car doesn't have adjustable suspension in terms of you know, dampening, as well as adjustable height, but still, you know, feels really comfortable. And you know, even the car, actually, it's not, I think maybe it's the weight of the car, and also because of the battery sitting at the bottom of you know, at the bottom of the car, it gives it you know, a low center of gravity. That's why, you know, the car feels like sitting on the ground, so it doesn't jerk a lot, you know, like a regular SUV with a regular, you know, suspension. And even when you go through the bumps, actually it feels really well. So it deals really well with the imperfection on the road, like you can see here. It's really comfortable, and doesn't jump a lot, so it's very stable. Straight away it goes back to, you know, its initial. I think it has also to do with the suspension geometry, you know, the dampening speed and everything. The other thing that I forget to mention is the price. So basically the base model on this car is around 15,500. This one is a little bit higher because it has a slightly bigger battery. So the smaller battery is about 50, I think it's about 50 or 55 kilowatt hour battery. And that gives you 100 kilometers less range. So it does only 401 kilometers of range. But again, we have to test that. But this particular one costs around 16,000. And, you know, you don't have a lot of fancy stuff, like I said, you know, but, you know, you still have, you know, cruise control, no adaptive cruise control on this car. You have your 360, you know, camera view, and you know, you have voice command, and you have all the other stuff, and also comes with the, you know, ventilated seat. No heating seats, but ventilated. In terms of performance, you know, this is by no means like a fast car, so it has a single motor. But you know, when you need speed, as you can see, I'm doing 40. If I push it, I mean, it's fast enough. Like you can get to 80, 100 like in a few seconds, which is enough actually for, you know, regular driving. Of course, the 4-wheel drive version has more power, and because it has a dual motor, so it can accelerate even better. You know, they don't have even a claim, like a claim number for 0 to 100. Actually, they have a 0 to 50, which is a 4.5 seconds, I think. So yeah, so it's not a fast car, but it's good enough. And because it's electric and it gives you that instant torque, I mean, it's good enough. Even, and also the car, because the car, it's actually on the light side compared, you know, to, you know, regular EVs. 1.67 ton of weight is not a lot for an electric car, actually. That's why actually the car feels and accelerates really well.
Right, so let me explain on how to get this test and see what's the consumption of this car. Basically, we're going to do 2 different speeds. So we're going to do the 100 kilometers and the 80 kilometers because there's a lot of you know, calculations and everything. So it's better I I do only 2, but at least it will give us an approximate number on the consumption on this car, because it doesn't have any road trip or consumption counter to calculate that. So let me turn the camera into the screen, to the instrument cluster. Since the only things we have here is we have the battery level here, as you can see, at 65, and then from this side we have the odometer here at 22,274. So basically I'm gonna do is so 65, probably it's not 65, maybe 65, we don't know exactly. So to get it right and try to get it as close as possible, I will drive the car until this drops down to 64, and then I will straight away look at the odometer and see what's the odometer saying here, and then from there I will drive for 50 kilometers based on this odometer, and then we will see how many percent we're gonna drop on the battery. So, and then assuming this battery, as I said earlier, this is a 65.7 kilowatt hour battery, so that will give us each 1% is a 0.657 kilowatt hour per 1%. Okay, this is not like exact math, but at least we will have an an estimation on what's the consumption on this car. So from there we will see how many percentage we dropped for the 50 kilometers, and then we will multiply that by 0.657, and then we'll see then 50 kilometers how many kilowatts we used, and then we can multiply it by 2 for 100 kilometers, and that will give us the consumption. So this is how I'm gonna try to get this done, since this car doesn't have the road, like the consumption counter, trip meter or whatever. So we're gonna have to do it this way. So first thing we'll do is I will get out, hit the highway, and as soon as that percentage drops from 65 to 64, I will straight away look at the odometer and see what's the distance, and then from there I will drive to 50 kilometers, and then we will see what's the percentage of the battery after we hit the 50 kilometers, and then we will do the calculations, and we'll do the same for 100 and then for the 80, just to make the calculations easier. So right, as soon as I joined actually the highway, the battery here dropped to 64, and then the odometer is at 22,249. So we'll drive the car till 22,300, so that will give us exactly 50 kilometers, and then we will find out what's the consumption for 100 kilometers of speed. So I'm going to increase the speed right now, just to try and keep the speed at about 100 kilometers per hour. All right, so actually it was a good time for the percentage to drop, the battery state of charge to drop, just as I joined the highway. Okay guys, so let's get this done with for the first test, and I will do the next one after we hit the 50 kilometer mark. The road is clear, so no traffic, and hopefully we'll stay that way. Alright, so I went through already 30 kilometers, so the odometer here shows 22,281, so that's 31 kilometers, and then the battery is down by, so it's almost down by 10%. Not there yet, but it's almost. So we start at 64, and then we are down here to 55. So another 90 kilometers, and then we should expect some kind of numbers result for the first test of 100 kilometers speed. And let me tell you, this car is noisy on the highway. You know, I was expecting this because of you know, the shape of the car. It's all square and you're sitting high above the ground. But I think the, you know, the handling of the car still surprises me a lot, because it still handles really well. Even the suspension, like I said, you know, it's handling the road like really well. I think it's the combination of the lightweight, like I said, and also that because this is an EV and the battery is sitting, you know, underneath the car, so it gives it like a very low center of gravity. So, and also it handles really well. Like even when you turn in at high speed, the car doesn't even like lean to one side. It just stays flat all the time. Okay, it's not the smoothest ride, but you know, from you know, this price range, this is like really good. I mean, the car handles really well. So, okay, so we're done. Let me just slow down because I need to take an exit, which is in a few hundred meters. So basically 50 kilometers, and we dropped by 15% of battery state of charge. If we do like an easy math times 15, that will give us 9.85 kilowatt hour of usage. If we multiply that by 2, so for 100, so that's a 19.7 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometer. So that's very I mean, this is a very high number for such a car, especially. But you know, you have to, I was expecting something, you know, high because of the shape of the car. It's not aerodynamic at all. It's just square, and you know, it's sitting high above the ground. Right, so for the first test, yeah, we got 19.7. This is not perfect calculations, but you know, at least we have an idea on what's the consumption of this car right now. All right, so I'll do the same thing, get off the highway, and also we will do the same thing, do the 80 kilometer hour speed test, and as soon as I rejoin the highway, we'll start to do that. All right, so I made a U-turn and rejoined the highway again, going to the opposite direction, going back to my destination. And just now the battery dropped to 47, so 47, and we are at 305 kilometers. So we start to calculate our 50 kilometers from now. So we will go till 355 kilometers, and we're gonna try to keep the speed between 80 to 85, because this highway actually has a 120 limit, but it's not too long to complete the 50 kilometer stretch that will give us, you know, the estimation for consumption. But we will do the 80. So yeah, so 47%, and then 306. So already did one kilometer. And let's see how is the consumption going down from 100 to 80 to 85. So right now I will try to keep it at 85 because of the speed. You know, the highway speed limit here is 120. So 80 will be too slow. I have to take the right lane, and I have some trucks behind me, so I don't want to do that. So just keep it around, you know, 85. And then after 15 kilometers, I think 17 actually, as you can see, after 17 kilometers I will change to a different highway which has a speed limit of 100. So driving there at 80 would be fine. And as you can see, I have my destination is exactly at 50 kilometers. So we'll finish the test before I reach my destination. So that's a good point actually to finish the test and then give you guys some final result for the 80 km/h speed. As you can see, no traffic right now because it's really late. So it's 3:16 in the morning a.m. That's why it's empty. Right, so I decided to keep the speed at 85. We are past halfway already, so we're at 333 kilometers, which is 28 kilometers. So we have 22 kilometers to go, and the battery is down to 40% from 47%. Less than 1 kilometer to go to hit the 50 kilometer mark. So we're at 354. So we should hit the 50 kilometers mark in very shortly, like in a few hundred meters. And the battery state of charge is down to 34, which means that we used 13% of the battery. It's not gonna go down because, okay, so 55, so we already hit the 50 kilometer mark, and the battery is still at 34 showing here, so down from 47%. So let me slow down here and exit the highway, and yeah, so that means that we used 13% of the battery, slightly less than earlier, but not by much. Probably by much because I think it's gonna stay on 34 for some times, because it dropped to 34 not long ago. But it is what it is, so we have to calculate as a 13%. So if we do the calculation again, we can do the same calculation. We can multiply 0.657 and then multiply it by 13%. That's 8.5 times 2. It give us 17. So 17 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometer, which is not not significantly less than the 100 speed, but to be fair, it was not the 80, so it was the 85. The 85 speed, so I kept the speed as an 85, not an 80. But yeah, so not by much. So the still at that low speed, the average consumption is still like really high. I wasn't expecting any significant number, but because of the car, the shape, the aerodynamics. But I'm thinking now maybe that's one of the reasons that they don't put any consumption meter on the instrument cluster, so people don't see those kind of high numbers, which is wrong, because it doesn't matter if it's high or low. At least you have an idea what's kind of power consumption your car is using, regardless of if it's high or not. I had to pay the toll gate, that's why I stopped the video. But like I was saying, I think maybe this is one of the reasons why they didn't want to put anything to remind me of the high consumption of this car in front of you, so you don't see it. But anyway, we know this right now, that based on the numbers, it's not exact science, but at least we have an idea on how. So we get 17 kilowatt hour on 85 kilometers per hour speed, and then we get 19, I think it was 19.8, so almost 20 kilowatt hour on 100 kilometer hour speed. So I can imagine how much this will use if we go on a 120. Right, just plugged in the car to charge it, and as you can see, actually we're charging at 77, which is actually really good. I think the base model has the limit of 60 kilowatt charging speed on a DC charger, but this one, because it's a different battery and it's a bigger battery, I think this one has an 80 kilowatt charging speed limit. So based on the numbers we saw today, I think the claimed number of 501 is a little bit exaggerated. So if we do the calculations, if your average daily speed on we're not talking about highway, maybe on a on a normal driving, so anything between 80 to 85 will give you around 370 to 380 kilometers of range from 100 to down to 0. So that's your average range. But if you go a little bit higher to driving on highway only at 100 kilometers, then your your real world range will drop significantly to 330 kilometers. And if we take the claim number from the factory, which is 501, then on an 85 kilometer hour speed per hour speed, the percentage of the CLTC range you're getting in real world is about 75%, which is okay, which is fine. But once you go to 100, you're doing only 68% of the claimed range, which is actually really low. We're not talking about 120, but this is only 100 kilometers per hour. I mean, this is very understandable that the shape of the car. This is an SUV. It's sitting high, above the ground, and the shape of the car is not really aerodynamic. It's just square. So it's understandable that the car will consume a lot of power, but they should maybe put a better numbers on the CLTC range. The claim numbers are a little bit too high for me, I think. So I'm not sure how did they get to the CLTC number that they put on the car, which is 501. So depends on the speed. I mean even if you drop down to 70, you're not gonna go anywhere near. Maybe you can get to 400 kilometers of range, but not 501, which is I think a little bit exaggerated. All right, so my final verdict on this car. So this is a very affordable, spacious, with an okay quality car that you can buy, for the price range of this car. This is actually a good option, especially for someone who's looking for a spacious, small SUV car, for a daily commute between work and home. This is a very, very good option. It drives really well. It has enough. You can go for a better version of this car, but obviously the price will increase. But at this price range, I think that the price of the car is really good. But if you're planning to to take trips, longer trips, doing a lot of highway, I don't think this is something you can consider because of the range, the high consumption, and the smaller battery they put on this one. The largest battery they put is on the four-wheel drive one, but again, when you have two electric motors sucking power from the battery again, so even on that one with a bigger battery, still the claimed CLTC range is 501. So you're back to the same conclusion. So what I think is this is for daily commuting, especially if you're looking for a car that has some kind of clearance, if you live in the countryside, where the roads are not perfect. This is this is a perfect car. Alright guys, so this will be all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video and you learned something from this video today. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, like always, please do so and give a thumbs up to the video. This will help me a lot, to do more videos. And let me know if you have any specific cars that you want me to do for my next video. Leave a comment and I will try to get it done. Until then, I will see you in the next video.